Well, it's exciting to have, 7 new members of the Church Mutual marketing team here today. For the last 10 weeks, they've been working on our corporate challenge. And our corporate challenge is really a project that our customers tell us about, a problem that they're encountering every single day. As an insurer of religious organizations, we have a really heavy responsibility to keep them protected. And it's the nature of our business, but even more importantly, it's our passion. And it goes beyond the insurance that we offer our customers. It's also value-added services and how we help them solve the problems that they face on a day-to-day basis. And a few facts that's really affecting our key segment of customers is right now 59% of Christian youth leave the church. More than a third of millennials are considered unchurched. They don't participate in any structured religion. And 61% of senior pastors say that youth ministry is their top priority to keep their organizations vibrant, to protect the greater good and improve the human condition. So the small challenge we gave these 7 experts is how can houses of worship of any denomination attract and retain young members? There's quite a lot of complexity in the challenge that we gave them. Church Mutual serves houses of worship of all denominations that have a wide variety of missions, although all of them have a common vision to enhance the human condition, very much like our own. We cover and support organizations that are rural and urban. So from the country church to the mega church, they're all facing a common challenge. And there's not a one-size-fits-all solution. What I'd like to do is introduce the newest members of the Church Mutual marketing team and let them share with you their solution to the challenge of how can houses of worship of all denominations attract and retain young members.
We were to affect the decline in attendance in houses of worship. Houses of worship are important clients to Church Mutual, and if we build strong relationships, they will have a solid future. This is a value add to both the house of worship and their business relationship with churches. This will advance the human condition.
So the challenge presented to us, like Laura stated earlier, how can houses of worship attract and retain young members? No problem, right? Well, this is a problem faced by all religions. All denominations have expressed concern over this. Young adults from 16 to 25 gravitate away from houses of worship, and not many return. At this age, youth are developing their personal lives. They're learning to drive, they're getting jobs, they're going to college. And this adds to the overall decline at houses of worship. So we hit the streets to gather some data, and Mango will tell you a little bit about that.
So we analyzed our data over the course of 4 weeks, and our strategy was to go out and do 150 interviews. Now, it was thought that we weren't going to succeed because we were asking random strangers to take a survey for us, especially since our survey contained questions about religion. However, 100 of those interviews were face-to-face with local citizens who were very open-minded to our questions and had no problem answering them for us. The remaining 50 were religious leaders who we sought after throughout the Midwest. However, only 16 of those leaders replied to us due to their time. And now the age range from our survey ranged from 15 to 80, and they came from all different walks of life. With the data that we collected, we were able to find out who our target market and BCheck customer is. Now, with more information about that, here's Katie.
So, BCheck customer, what exactly is it? It's a strategy about focusing your resources on one key area, and usually it's a smaller market. And our target market, through our research, we were able to identify our beachhead customer and target market, and we observed that it was the leaders of the houses of worship. Possible target segments were different age brackets, different denominations, and different cultures. Also, leaders compete for parishioners' time. Parishioners have previous engagements, other commitments that take away from attending services. Additionally, our research suggests significant gaps for houses of worship, such as low volunteer rates and financial restrictions. Those two factors alone contribute to numerous bottlenecks for a house of worship success. However, luckily, there are opportunities for houses of worship. They're able to customize our solution and use it to best suit their needs. And Mikey's going to let you know more about that.
All right, so our solution, from talking to Church Mutual sales reps, we discovered that a field guide would be most beneficial for these spiritual leaders. This field guide could take the form of a pamphlet, a podcast, a presentation, or a video, and would cover points of how spiritual leaders can be more adaptable, understandable, approachable, and convenient. We have this field guide in pamphlet form that you can look at after we're done, and we do have a video example of that which we will show.
The pastors should change the rules a little bit.
There's so many rules that it makes it hard for me to follow my religion, and honestly, it makes me feel guilty about it.
We have services that are traditional and services that are contemporary to make everyone feel at home.
The pastors should make the lessons more understandable.
If there was actually more than one service in the day, that would be great.
My church offers many different activities and programs to keep the youth connected to our community and with our Lord.
I wish I could talk to a pastor without being afraid of him.
I feel like the spiritual leaders aren't very approachable, and I wish that I could speak to them more about what's going on in my life.
Youth need guidance. I would like to do all I can to lead them in the right direction.
My family ties are strong, but it can also be the thing that drives us apart because religion tends to get in the way.
My name is Alexa, and I'm Lutheran.
My name is Abraham, and I'm a Muslim.
My name is Adam, and I am a Lutheran pastor.
So essentially for our value proposition, we're going to be offering a general guide that can kind of be tailored to meet a specific denomination's needs. Obviously, we're not going to be able to develop a specific product that's going to work all across the board for every denomination, so that's the great thing about this, is it can be tailored to everybody's needs. Here we are providing Church Mutual Insurance with an opportunity to listen, learn, and lead. Essentially what we're going to be doing here is creating a basis for them to create personal relations with their clients rather than simply professional. It gives them a chance to come at it from their perspective and see what their needs are. And to wrap things up, Lucas will be moving our things.
Alrighty, so our final thoughts. One of the biggest things that we learned throughout the past 10 weeks is that houses of worship should try to be more adaptable to millennials because they are the future of their congregation. And this was proved through our research. And that's why the field guide is so great, because it's adaptable to any religion, anything, and the possibilities are endless. So from the day that we received this challenge, we knew that we were going to have a tough time, but we took it in stride, and we found out that this did a lot of good for us, and it will also do a lot of good for Church Mutual. And throughout the past 10 weeks, we had a lot of help along the way. So we would like to throw a special thanks to the branch, Church Mutual, Wausau Chamber of Commerce, North Central Technical College, Dawn Burnans, Liz Nevers, Jeff Reike from Church Mutual, Sarah Kapelish, Kimberly Reed, and Seth Pavlovich from NTC. Thank you very much, and we will be accepting questions at this time.
Can you talk talk a little bit about your survey tool, like what questions you asked, how long the survey took?
Yeah, absolutely. So throughout the process, we presented the data that we found to Church Mutual representatives, and we found that we needed to connect with our age range, which was 16 to 25. And so what we did is we took the streets. We had a list of about 12 questions, which are listed on this flat table over here. We'll have all the questions that we asked to the individuals and the results available. And then we also have a survey that we asked to church leaders. So the basis of the student survey was that we need to find out what their motivation was to go to church. And if they don't have that motivation, what is restricting them? And that's where we found those 4 key points that drew people to church. And that's where we based our field guide on, is on those 4 key points.
And we do have graphs on there as well for you to look at smart TV.
Thank you.
Do you think the fact that you have a modest participation rate with the clergy is symptomatic of a larger problem? If only 16 out of 50 wanted to participate, isn't that part of the problem?
It exactly is. It's a very cyclical problem. You have a low volunteer rate, which you're trying to increase, and you also have very busy leaders of houses of worship. So it does just continue down that road, but hopefully we'll be able to fix that or improve it a little bit.
So the next project is how do we get pastors to be more You're learning how to be a consultant. Another problem for us.
Yes, this is phase 1.
So in the beginning of this process, we got a chance to meet each other, and we had designated a team leader, and then we had some other team positions. And like I said in the beginning, we are classified into hipsters, hustlers, handlers, and hackers, and we took this little quiz that kind of explained what your personality was. So that was really cool. And we worked really, really well together. I think that even though we had differences, I think that helped give different perspectives, and I think it went really well. I mean, we barely had any conflict. I mean, we were really open, so yeah, it was great.
My struggle was trying to actually relate to Christian, but had a great team to help me out and understand the religion a little bit more.
But it was also great that we had Mango's opinion too, because he's not a Christian. And, Church Mutual insures not just Christian churches. They're all over the place, so it was great.
In a general area, it's mostly Christian. And as we went along, we found out that, our titles, we all have a little bit of that in us.
Yeah.
We're not pigeonholed just to one thing, as we went along, we discovered there's a little bit out of us.
The challenge that you ran into with the pastors being too busy to respond is actually probably reflective of what a lot of organizations face, is that tension between I'm so caught up in running the day-to-day, I can't step back and be strategic. Did you get a sense with any of the respondents that maybe it was sort of an epiphany or a light bulb moment to say, hey, wait a minute, maybe I do need to pull back a little bit and think more long-term, think strategically? Any thought around that?
Absolutely. We've had it from both sides of the spectrum. So we have had people that have gone to as far as, I would love to do some of these activities and get the millennials more involved, but I don't have the volunteers, I don't have the money, I have all these restrictions that I'm not able to. We have every drive to do it, but we don't have the resources. And then we have gotten responses saying, this is all cyclical, and how it's going to take its cycle, and how we should let God's will do its God's will, and how we shouldn't be changing stuff like this. So we have received from both sides of the spectrum, but I think the majority are willing to convert and be more adaptable to millennials.
Yeah, and when we talk about the gaps too, we, in our field guide, had added, some that are no-cost options and some that will cost. So there are options for, if they are in a really tight budget, they can still try and get the youth involved.
You got a question over there?
You talk about the issue of product, and on the other side of it, you talk about the challenges you faced getting pastors to respond. In just the video clip that you showed, referencing back to what Mr. Poirier said, is there a product problem that you identified for the millennials in terms of what houses of worship have to offer, and how do you address that with the data that you have?
kind of comes down to evolution. You know, as time goes on, technology's getting larger, the churches kind of have to adapt to speak to the millennials.
And I feel like churches should really be offering more of a community atmosphere, a sense of belonging. And maybe that's not what these millennials are feeling now, and maybe that's why these churches need to adapt to them. Because obviously if the benefits don't outweigh the costs, they're not going to attract to it. So that's why I feel like with the field guide, we're going to give them ways to become more of a community with their congregation.
And they have options to do that. I mean, we list many options that they can take or leave, so that's the next part.
And when I was developing the field guide, there's an option in there. It was talking about small groups. So where I was going with that is essentially a smaller community inside of a church. For example, like let's say we have a group of 5 or 6 individuals who like to meet once on a Wednesday night, once a week. This group would be self-managing, self-sustaining, and they'd pick their own topics, times, meeting places, stuff like that. So it'd be a real, not only sense of belonging to a group within the church, but a basis for making friends and sustaining relationships. So there's 2 aspects there that really kind of pull you in, really make you there.
Yeah, so in me and Hughes' experience, I think we grew heavily in our confidence in being able to present, and then also our ability to work with others. And I'm wondering, has your confidence grown? Has your ability to work with others of different opinions grown? And then how does this question play into your personal kind of religious part of you?
I can speak on the confidence part because I had a couple of great instructors mention me for the branch, and Chris reached out to me. I had no idea what it was. I kind of looked on it, and it took me out of my comfort zone. And I was like, so we'll be working with a Fortune 500 company on, you know, it kind of made me shake my boots a little bit, but I really had to jump out, you know, and do it, and it's definitely made me more confident. I mean, I'm speaking in front of a lot of people. So,
and you were on TV.
Yeah. I think that personally, my confidence has definitely grown, and I think that, you know, it has made me a better leader, and working with others, it has really improved my teamwork skills. And like just watching my team members grow, I think that they have done a fabulous job, and I can tell you that they have grown tremendously over these past 9 weeks, and it was a lot of fun. It was awesome.
And in the perspective of religion, as we were looking through this with kids my age, I was like, whoa, is this really happening? I got no time for this, I was thinking to myself. So I would go to church. But then seeing this to be a common factor with a lot of people my age, it opened my eyes to look at what I'm doing with my time, and I realized that I do have time to go to church. If I put my mind to it, I can go. So I have been probably going to church we started this program with an age or so, and I have been going to church for the past 5.
As far as communication goes, I'm really glad we were able to all stay in touch, and you know, whenever we needed something, they were always right there to help us out. We were never alone throughout this entire project. So even with the people who facilitated our help and our guidance, that was really nice.
And that was really big because the diversity of this group is amazing. We all come from different walks of life, and we all connected. I don't have colleagues here. I have friends. We all made friends doing this, and that's the beauty of the branch, because it's not just your regular internship. It's a community, and it was great. I will not regret this decision. It was a great learning experience.
Question. I'm sensing almost like a department or a division as you guys are really, taking turns talking and agreeing with each other. And I'm just wondering what it looked like in your ideation room, and when you had to kind of determine, we're going to do a field guide in a video. Let us in. What does that process look like?
Sticky notes everywhere.
We were kind of a wreck. We were kind of a wreck. In the sense that we were really messy with it. We were just sticky notes everywhere. But it led to a really good conclusion. I mean, we took sticky notes, and we had all these ideas, and then we kind of narrowed it, and narrowed it, and narrowed it, and this is what we came up with.
That was something of big value that I really took away from this is learning to do it by process. You know?
Trusting the
Yeah,
process.
exactly.
We
You
trusted
can't.
the process.
Yo.
And we also, I think that was probably one of the first times that we really, really had to understand how to create an open dialogue among us and then maintain it.
Yeah.
Because everyone's ideas were important. So we were able to throw those up on the wall and kind of do a voting process and then just keep molding that and modifying that. And that was probably a really great learning process for us as a team.
And I can speak on behalf of the handlers. That was extremely hard to just trust the process
So
and like
tough.
be okay with just like letting things go. And yeah, it was hard, but it was definitely worth it.
So we should thank Seth, Kim, and Sarah for all their patience with us. Yeah, working with a group like this has been good for me. I started out as kind of a lone wolf, where I was like, don't touch my stuff. And then, like, over the weeks, I got really close to them, so I was like, here, take all my stuff. So it's been really beneficial for me to really be a team player.
Do you find that the clergy that did respond, were they receptive to, were they open-minded to what you were trying to do and willing to take like advice or, open to this idea, or this is not?
There was some openness, but there was some opposition too. In a little bit, we can probably pull up that one memorable quote.
There was one comment that just
There was
really.
one comment that just floored us, and I mean, I presented that to my friend, the pastor, and he's like, I can't believe, you guys are trying to help. And
What was the comment?
It's quite lengthy.
Yeah, we can bring it up. It's like a book.
Can you summarize it in 10 words?
So what it basically says is that this was under our survey and it's available over there. But what it says is, I absolutely appreciate all of the work that you are putting in, and I think it is a challenge. But I think we need to let God do His work, and we will see the results from that. This is just a stage, and there's nothing that we can do to fight this. And it also included a very applicable Bible quote with it, and it was very well written, I would say.
He was older than all of us.
Yeah, he said he was in his
ministry.
40 years so of being in the clergy.
Don't be discouraged. That
No,
not
that was like
is
the only one that
majority
was.
thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, and that was one comment out of so many, and there was
Right,
so
yeah.
much positive feedback that we got from not only the religious leaders, but the people that we interviewed in public, and that kind of is what drove us. We were like, we have something in our hands that we can make some change with.